What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another Atelier video. Alright guys, we're going to be talking about the recipe and alchemy section of this game and the Atelier in general, how it all works. And then I'm going to give you guys my advice on the top early to mid-game items you should be crafting and equipping on your characters. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the actual system itself. So the Atelier is the workshop where all of your alchemy is going to be performed. And this is a massive, massive part of the game because all of your equipment, your items, and your armor is going to come directly from this section. So we're going to talk about the research, the convert, and the synthesis, how it all works, how you want to set it up, who you want to give it to, and how you want to actually customize your equipment and the RNG involved. And then we're going to talk about the actual recipes themselves, which ones you actually want to put on what characters, and then the best recipes you can get from early to mid game. Early game is going to be chapter 1 to 2, mid game is going to be chapter 2 to 3, and then end game will be 3 to 4. Okay, so we're not going to talk about end game yet because I'm personally not there, but I'm going to give you guys all the details of my opinion, what's worked for me, and how I've been able to do it. So first off, let's start at the top, the research. Now this is going to be the most costly part of your coal, and this is where it's going to go towards. If you begin research, you can see here I'm at level 12 now, and the research, what it does do is it actually gives you effects for specific character types, so supports, attacks, etc. Right? So in this case, HPF for supporter from 1 to 1.8 is going to cost me, for example, right now 60k, 70k to get this done. So you guys can see how quickly this is going to eat up your coal. So if you're wondering where all your coal is going to go, for the most part, it's going to go towards your research. Now, you do want to do this because it will increase the damage, your HP, and the rest of your stats for your actual team. And you guys can see here, there's two different kinds. There's a combat research and alchemy research. Alchemy research will affect the use of your items versus like in accessories. You guys can see speed up is huge, so you want to definitely do that. And then the other one here will actually affect your actual combat stats, so your character combat stats versus alchemy research. So very important, guys, but again, very, very costly. You guys can see here, look, 94k down to 4k. So if you're wondering where the hell your coal's going, this is going to be a big part of it. So research is going to be a very long-term place. Don't try to max it out right away, or else you're going to be stuck trying to get yourself coal to level up and do your board as well, which we'll talk about in a whole different video, okay? Now, converting here is going to be anything that you no longer need is going to be converted into these little tokens right here, okay? And these tokens are going to be used in the actual shop. So anything you're no longer using that is like a level 1 or like you no longer need, you definitely want to convert, okay? So when you convert, what will end up happening is you will get yourself these coins, and again, these coins can be used at the shop to exchange for other things such as orbs, alchemy items, etc. Right? So this is going to be a big part of it. So a lot of your items that you no longer like, especially when you get to end game and you're trying to make SSR items and you make SR instead, or traits that you don't want are being added, you'll end up melting a lot of those and getting yourself a ton of these points. So make sure you are doing item conversion. You can check the whole idea behind it right here. And again, this is the shop. It's called the Shiny Coins, and you guys can trade it in for, like I mentioned, for orbs, for coal, etc. There's a lot of different things you can trade in for it. Okay, so again, not something you're going to worry about early to end or early to mid game, but end game, that's going to be a big part of it. Now, synthesis. This one's very important, okay? Depending what you want to synthesize, you're going to need, first off, the materials. Materials can be gathered through dungeons, story mode, or towers, or various other ways. Mostly dungeons, though. Dungeons are going to be your best friends for gathering, especially the more rare materials. Now, for example, let's say I want to create a dark water, or if I want to do something a little more simple, I want to get like this witch potion, which I have a ton of items for. So let's go ahead and craft this. I'm going to show you guys how crafting works. So a battle item. So this is going to now introduce you to 3 different characters that are now associated with this item. These 3 right here. Based on who they are, their colors will also be gifted there, right? There's a gift color. Now, the way this works is you can use blue, purple, and yellow. So now you have to figure out with this item, what stats are you looking for, okay? So this currently reduces all enemies' fire, ice, bolt, resistance by 10%. So ideally, you want to have this to be for anyone who is a fire, ice, bolt, or air unit with those actual traits that they can do in their skills. So in this case, for example, let's say I have Riza, who is a fire unit, and she's my main DPS, and I want this to be to help her. So the first thing I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for something that will do, for example, like this is physical. I don't want that because she's magical, right? So you keep looking here, and you can see here this trait will not be active for this time. So you keep going and you see which one works. So magic curse, that's perfect. Boost magic damage target receives by 1 to 8% for 1 attack. So that would be a very good one. Strike curse is going to be for strike resistance, right? You don't want that because, again, we're focusing on magic. So you want to keep looking here until you see the one you're looking for. The main thing to remember, if it's grayed out, that trait will not pop up, okay? Also, another thing to note, if you get past the color schematics that are here, so in this case, blue, purple, and yellow, whatever trait you choose will not be chosen, okay? So keep that in mind. So you can see here, I'm going Ice Curse, Fire Curse. So this is a big one too, right? So if I go reduces target fire resistance by another 10%, this will stack. So maybe I want this one, and you can see here, her other color is purple. Now, if I go back, this is, I think, the other one that I wanted. Well, hold on, let's find out. Purple, let's see. Who was the other unit that I wanted? What, Slash Curse, Physical, no. So let's just pick that one for now, and you'll see the next one, okay? If I go next, now you need to pick a purple color that you want that will give you the desired possible trait. The keyword is possible. So if I click here, this is not going to provide me anything. So we're going to go next one, Slash Curse. We don't want that because, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have Slash Curse because then your slash units will do more. But in this case, we want to maximize the ability of what this item does. So if I keep going the list, now you guys can see the color, you're going to have a little exclamation mark here. The colors no longer match. So this is going to be a bust for me. So I'm going to go back here again, and I'm going to go and find that Magic Curse unit. So this guy, she gives me yellow. So I'm going to go back here now to next and see what yellow provides, right? So you can go through the list here and see now, nothing there, nothing there. Ice Curse, Fire Curse. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So now we're going to get magic target receiving damage now further, and now we're going to add fire to it. So that's exactly what we're looking for. So we go next, and then here you choose an item that'll best match your next trait. You guys can see here I have either Air Curse or nothing. So I'm going to choose Air Curse because, hell, we have some air units in our team. So we're going to go next and start. Now they're going to start making this item. Now you have an opportunity to get a rare, an SR, or an SSR item. So either a rainbow, a normal, and based on what grade it is, 1 to 5, it's going to give you a color, rainbow being the highest, and then that will also show you the amount of effects you're going to get from that skill. So let's just go ahead and do this. Normally what will happen is they'll fall on the floor if you get a rainbow like that. That's perfect. So that means one of our traits are in fact going to be a purple. So in this case, Bolt Blessing. Okay, but this is not active, unfortunately. But look at that, boost bolt damage by 45%. Now, why isn't that active? Well, that's because we didn't choose it in our list. So unfortunately, the only one that we got here was air, which is not what we wanted. So if I go again, I'm going to choose the exact same thing, and hopefully this time we get ourselves what we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to skip this. This time it's just normal. We got 2 of the items. Air Curse again. Fire Curse and Air Curse this time, so that's not bad. We want the magic one as well, but these are all level 1s. You can see here it's only 1% increase, so that's really not going to help us. So we can try again, one more time, and this is essentially how this is going to work. Okay, you're going to have a lot of RNG. Now I want to take away some of the speculation here that people have about this. So magic, air, and we want fire. Okay, so we definitely want fire. And you guys can see you get magic orbs as well. So that's how that works. So for me personally, those are useless items. I'm going to go ahead and convert those into shiny coins, and we're not going to use any of these because quite honestly, they're fairly useless in regards to this. But you can see here, the more rare you get, the better, the more coins you get, right? The more rare the traits are. So keep that in mind. So that's essentially it. Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick is if you see an SSR item like this, okay, it doesn't mean you're going to be guaranteed to get it. There's a possibility to get it, okay? So if you go to my inventory real quick of my items, you guys can see here, I'll just show you real quick on this section. My Dark Water, I have a couple of different versions of it. I've got a SR version right there, and I've got an SSR version right here. Right? So, and same with the Bell. I've got 2 SR versions instead of one SSR. So it's a chance. That's what that means. Okay, it can go up to an SSR copy of that item. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Now, next up, recipes. Let's talk about recipes. Okay, how do you get recipes and how they work? Recipes are fairly straightforward here, but I'm going to explain them anyways. Let's say you are looking for a recipe that you don't have. The first thing you want to do is you want to click on that recipe, and it will actually show you how to acquire it. So in this case, I need to gather a stim stone for this rune stone and use a buff item 15 times in battle. Okay, that's a buff item. So once you've accomplished that, you will be able to unlock this recipe. Now, the beauty of unlocking recipes, not only are you going to have these recipes to build, but you will also get yourself 50 low star gems every single time you unlock a brand new recipe. So while you're going through this, guys, make sure you are looking. For example, if you need to gather things, if you go to attempt, you can see what's required. If you've already finished, for example, Drift Blossom Marsh, you can just go ahead and gather there, collect what you need, and you will instantly unlock this recipe. Now, some recipes are going to be locked behind chapters of story modes, etc. So make sure you are looking at the recipe you want to get. You should be try to get all of them anyways, and see what is the requirement behind it. Okay, again, some of them will be behind score battles, dungeons, and remember, you can do any dungeons if it doesn't specify. In this case, it says score battle, any score battle. Clear a dungeon 30 times, any dungeon. So as long as you're accomplishing what they're asking you to do, you're set. Now, let's talk a little bit about the early best items to go with. So when you are a stage 1 or chapter 1, first thing you're going to be asked to do is build one of these items. Just build a uni bag. You don't really need the healing salve. If you have a healer especially, it's useless, okay? You just save materials. Flameberg, you definitely want to do. Traveler's Vest, you want to do when you unlock. These two will be your first go-to items for all your characters for the first little while. Unicharm is great, but if you can push for the bunny tail is better because it gives you 8 speed, and speed is way more important than having a little bit more HP because it will let you go faster in the timeline and manipulate the timeline a little easier, giving you faster burst and more buffs, okay? Another one that's actually really good early on is going to be the Witch's Potion, which we just tried to create. It reduces all enemies' fire, ice, bolt, air resistance by 10% for 2 attacks, giving your casters or anybody with these affinities more damage for 2 turns, which is actually really good. Dry Biscuit, again, I'd avoid. It does take a little bit of extra items in the yellows. It does restore a little bit of HP, but it's super minimal. I wouldn't personally be doing that. When you finally get a chance to, your Handmade Staff, that's what you want to go for next, because this will increase magic attack versus the Flameberg that increases physical attack. Okay, so physical attack really isn't going to help your casters, but it'll help your stab, strike, physical units, right? But your Handmade Staff is going to help all of your casters, so you definitely want to build that. Your Mixed First Shirt, it's up to you on this one. It depends when you want to use it. If you're fighting casting enemies, then you obviously want more magic defense. If you're fighting physical enemies, you want more physical defense. So either the Traveler's Vest with the 20 physical defense or this Mixed Fur will help, but quite honestly, you can choose one or the other. It's early on, it really doesn't make much of a difference. The Noble Tunic will allow you to have both. It'll just cut the stats in half, so not a bad option if you want to just kind of play the field that way. And same with the Blue Sky bow, you can do half and half as well too. Again, most of the time you're going to pick a caster and a physical. It's really hard to do one or the other, or really easy to do one or the other, I should say. So going here, next thing is the Secret Remedy here. All allies deal 10% more fire, ice, bolt, air damage. This is actually a really good option if you don't have Dark Water available. So cast, I would say, make 2 of these if you can with the proper elements that for your units. And then after that, the Healing Bell is not bad. It restores roughly about like 75 to 100 HP, so it's not a bad option for healing. Again, 15% HP to all allies, so it's not too bad. That's my current state at least. And then finally, you're going to start getting to the better items. So the Light Iron Staff, for example, is going to boost magic stun damage by 6%. This is a must-have early on for a lot of your units, because when something is stunned, which a lot of times when you break the armor, they are, you're going to be able to do 6% more damage. Lethal Protector is another really, really good one because it boosts magic skill by 6%, so all of your casters will benefit off of this. And then from here, Dark Water is the next real big must-have, especially for mid-game, because it reduces the enemy's magic attack skill. Sorry, all enemies receive 15% more magic attack skill damage for 2 attacks. So all of your magic attacks will do 15% more damage for 2 attacks. So casting this item right behind 2 casters is an incredible thing to do. You'll do a lot more damage. Iron Claw is actually not bad if you have somebody with burn like Ixal or poison or anything like that. This is going to be great because it increases the negative effect potency by 5%, so they do more damage with their burns or whatever cast. This here boosts HP recovery by 3%, great for healers and tanks. And then going over to the Battle Axe, this will be your physical damage dealers. So boost physical skill, so Raise, Logi, etc. Those guys are going to benefit a lot off of this. And then lastly, the Heart Code here for your physical stun damage. So especially for someone like Logi who does stun damage and physical, this is going to be his number 1. And you want to boost his stun damage with traits on this one. So those are some of the better early stuff. Also, the Healing Staff, of course, for your healer will boost your healing a little bit here. And then Border Scale is not bad if you have a buffer that you want to increase their buff potency. So those are some of the best ones. Now, keep in mind, in order to progress in the story, you do need to craft some certain things. So you will have to hunt some material to open up some more recipes. For example, for me to advance any further from 3-7, I need to actually create a magic sword. So I have to go beat a dungeon once I have 30 stamina in order to do so. All right, guys. That is crafting in a nutshell. If I have missed anything, let me know in the comment section. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any comments yourself, let me know if I missed anything again. This is Payne. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.